Hi, my name is JC Herring, and today I'm going to be presenting social media and its positive and negative effects on the mental health of not only teenagers and young adults, but everybody as well. So, is social media good? That's an essential question, but it's a very up in the air question. The impact of social media can be positive and negative, especially when dealt with in moderation. Just like anything, if you have too much of it, it can be very harmful. But if you use the right moderation, it can be beneficial. So, social media is the fastest way of spreading information, and it can also get to the most amount of people. Never before in the history of the world has there been communication efforts as incredible as there have been with social media. Social media is one of the most beneficial ways of spreading information and getting in contact with people that you know, even with people that you don't know, people that you want to meet for the first time. You can do through social media. That's never been done before, and so that does have a lot of positive impacts on teenagers and on young adults. People that want to get job interviews, they can contact the person through social media. Social media has really had an insanely positive impact on how people communicate with each other. And that can lead to more friends, that can lead to better friends, that can lead to, if you're feeling alone, or something like that, you will be able to talk to somebody that you feel comfortable with. And so social media does have really positive impacts in those areas. Second, it makes the world smaller for a lot of people. A lot of people see the world as too big, too complicated, something that they can't handle, and social media dumbs that down for them. Social media makes the world seem really, really small and something that they can handle. It really helps deal with anxiety and depression for people that feel like they can't handle what's going on. Social media really is able to make it so that they feel comfortable with how the world is going. And then third, it helps find common ground. Common ground is something that we can't find a lot of today, especially in Twitter. In arguments over Twitter, you find a common ground with people. You learn how to interact with people in a much more positive way, so that you can deal with them, and that will help you down the road and help you with both your mental and physical health. Because if you can build relationships, and if social media can teach you to build relationships, that's much more positive than anything else. And when used in moderation, social media can really boost your morale. Moderation is probably the key aspect here. So I'll get into the negative effects in the next slide, but social media is really beneficial when used the proper amount. And there's a lot of debate about what the proper amount is, whether it's 10 minutes a day or 2 hours a day. That's really up for debate. It's you got to know what's your limit here. But when you notice that I'm happy when I'm using social media, you're using it in the proper amount. And that's the key thing that we're looking for here. Now, on the contrary, is social media bad? Social media, while it has a lot of positive aspects, it does have a lot of negative aspects. The first aspect is it can be addictive. Teenagers spend hours and hours on their phones every day, and a lot of it is on social media. And you might say, so what? They're looking at pictures, they're reading tweets. That's not a bad thing. That's not necessarily the case. Social media can be very addictive, and like I said before, when used in a proper amount, it's great. It can help boost your morale and can help improve your mental condition a ton. But when used too much, it can lessen your overall well-being. Social media among teens is one of the most common factors in depression and anxiety. So if we can really work to limit that and shove it down, that will make it much less addictive, and it can make your well-being, and it can really increase your well-being, make your experience so much better. And the reason why so many people are not in a good place, or are not as mentally stable as they should be, is because of social media. And a lot of that reason is you're comparing your life to other people's lives. People post on social media when they have a big accomplishment, when they travel somewhere cool, when something cool in their life happens. That's not their whole life. Social media does not portray the average teenager's whole life. And so when you are feeling down and you see somebody went to Spain or they won a state championship, that can really have a detrimental impact on your mental health and make you think that you're less of a person than you really are. So social media can really kind of dig under your skin and find those cracks, find those insecurities, and expose them to make it so that you're not portrayed as mentally fit as possible. And the last point I want to make on this slide is the more friends you have on social media doesn't mean that you're more popular, that you're going to be more mentally fit. A lot of times people get caught up. You say, instead of posting a picture because you liked doing the thing, you want to relive that memory, you post it to see how many likes you can get, and that's caught up, and that can really deteriorate your focus on more important things, therefore leading to negative health impacts. Who mostly uses social media? Teenagers and young adults. Those are the main beneficiaries of social media. There are people in the older generation, like Gen X and baby boomers, that do use social media, but primarily it's among teenagers and young adults. Who does not like social media or does not use social media? The older generation, the Generation X, the baby boomers. They're primarily the group that doesn't use social media all that much. And so the social media worries here. This is an interesting graphic that I saw. It shows that Gen Xers, baby boomers, and people in the much older generation past the baby boomers, they don't have as much of a concern for social media as millennials do, which kind of gets us to our solution. How do we fix this problem? And that really comes down to us. And I think, given this graphic, millennials, we're the ones that are going to be able to fix this. Again, I said it all comes down to moderation, and I think that's 100% true. And really what it comes down to is us trying to manage ourselves. And it's a lot easier to manage others than it is to manage ourselves. And there's not some government regulation or government policy that can really crack down on social media use. It comes down to us, and you can't control what someone else does. So my advice is to control how much you use social media every day. And this is just kind of a closing statement to show my final thoughts. People are still not totally clear on the effects of social media, but the evidence is clear. So social media can be very positive in moderation.